doing?
Great. Why? What have you heard?
Zelensky was asked to leave the White House. Then he appeared on Fox News and said he thinks he can still salvage his relationship with President Trump, which is like Justin Baldoni saying, I'd love to work with Blake again.
Hold up. Did Blake Lively really just get humiliated by an SNL host on live television? The internet is in flames, and now Blake's alleged reaction has everyone talking. Today, we're diving headfirst into the drama to uncover what really went down. Trust me, you won't want to miss a second of this story. Let's get into it. After what I can only assume Ryan Reynolds believed was a triumphant appearance on Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary special, he probably wasn't too thrilled. To see Colin Jost return to SNL last night with a joke at Blake Lively's expense, Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively made what they likely thought would be a celebrated return to the public eye during SNL's milestone event. However, things took an unexpected turn when Colin Jost, co-anchor of Weekend Update and husband of Scarlett Johansson, who happens to be Ryan Reynolds' ex-wife, delivered a joke aimed directly at Blake. What should have been a night of honoring? 5 decades of comedy instead became a public spectacle, putting the Hollywood power couple's reputation on the line.
Got this story, Justin Baldoni. Now, as you know, these jokes are written like sometimes up until the minute. They literally have cue card guys in the back getting high off the fumes of Sharpies, writing these jokes down as they sort of adjust depending on the times. They shoot an episode 2 hours beforehand, like 9 or 10 p.m. They shoot an episode. They don't air it. They just record it, and depending on how the audience reacts, they'll adjust things. So if a joke bombs and you don't believe in it, you might cut it. And I say that because there was a lot of discussion about Ryan Reynolds and the joke he told and how he rewrote it for the crew. That's super normal. If he's going to be the person saying something out loud, he has input on what is said. In the end, if they don't think it's funny, they'll let him know and they'll collaborate in that direction. But it wasn't that the joke wasn't funny because the audience laughed. It was that when you break down the joke that Ryan Reynolds said, you realize kind of like oh man, imagine if the genders were reversed. This would be an absolute monstrous thing to make fun of.
Reynolds and Lively have spent years crafting an image as one of Hollywood's most beloved couples, known for their playful social media banter and strong family-first branding. However, in recent months, their carefully curated public persona has begun to unravel, largely due to a highly publicized legal battle involving director Justin Baldoni. Their appearance on Saturday Night Live marked their first major public outing since the lawsuit began dominating headlines. But rather than approaching it with humility, they leaned into the controversy, attempting to turn it into a joke. The audience's reaction was immediate and telling. When SNL icons Tina Fey and Amy Poehler tossed Reynolds a simple, good-natured question, an easy opportunity to maintain composure, he instead responded with an ill-timed quip that instantly shifted the mood in the room. The laughter that followed wasn't the kind of genuine amusement Reynolds is used to receiving. It was the uncomfortable, forced kind that signals secondhand embarrassment. Even Hollywood elites in attendance, including Steven Spielberg, appeared visibly uneasy. Sitting beside Reynolds, Blake Lively's expression made it clear. She knew her husband had just made a serious misstep, but the worst was yet to come. When Colin Jost took the stage, it was obvious he had something pointed to say. His joke, delivered with surgical precision, wasn't just another SNL jab, it was a direct message from Hollywood itself. As Scarlett Johansson's husband, Jost had every reason to be less than friendly toward Reynolds. And when his joke about Lively landed, it struck like a lightning bolt. For a brief moment, the audience hesitated. And in that split second, everything was clear. Hollywood had officially turned on Blake Lively. Jost's joke drew a comparison that couldn't be ignored. He referenced an industry figure who had been publicly shunned, saying, Zayn was asked to leave the White House. Then he appeared on Fox News and claimed he could still salvage his relationship with President Trump, which is like Justin Baldoni saying, I'd love to work with Blake again. The industry's patience had run out. For months, Lively had tried to shape the narrative around her lawsuit with Baldoni, presenting herself as a wronged party while downplaying the allegations against her and Reynolds. But the damage was already done. Her reputation had taken too many hits, and this SNL moment was the final straw. Jost's joke didn't just land, it hit with the force of a Hollywood reckoning. This wasn't just a roast. It was a signal. The industry no longer saw Blake Lively. as the untouchable A-lister she once was. Her carefully PR-crafted image as Hollywood's sweetheart had officially crumbled. And now, in a move that only fuels the chaos, Blake Lively has reportedly hired a crisis PR strategist, the same one who attempted to help cover up Hunter Biden's laptop scandal. Oh my goodness, this is getting crazier by the day. But before we dive deeper, let's take a moment to unpack what really happened. In a second, I'm going to play the clip. But first, let's set the stage. A few weeks ago, Saturday Night Live celebrated its 50th anniversary, and Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively were there, front and center. But to understand how things spiraled to this point, we need to go back to the beginning of their legal troubles. It all started with It Ends With Us, a film adaptation that had been Baldoni's passion project for years. When Blake Lively was cast in the lead role, what should have been a smooth production quickly turned into an industry-wide controversy. Behind the scenes, sources claimed that Lively demanded unprecedented control over the project, sidelining Baldoni in the process. Rather than staying out of the fray, Ryan Reynolds reportedly played an active role in ensuring Baldoni was forced out of his own movie.
His character, Deadpool, which is very popular in this movie, acts more like the Justin Baldoni that I said turned me off with the I'm against toxic masculinity. And there's a question about whether he was taking a shot at Justin. Here's the clip.
Who are you? Oh, I'm Deadpool. And I guess you're Deadpool too. But in here, everybody calls me Nice Pool. Oh my goodness, wait till you see Lady Pool. She is gorgeous. She just had a baby too, and can't even tell. I don't think you're supposed to say that. That's okay. I identify as a feminist, right?
What I make of that is that if your wife is sexually harassed, you don't make fun of Justin Baldoni. There's no question it relates to Justin. I mean, anybody that can watch that, the hair bun. If somebody is seriously sexually harassed, you don't make fun of it. It's a serious.
By early 2024, the situation had escalated into a full-blown legal battle. Baldoni's lawsuit against Lively and Reynolds contained allegations of manipulation, power plays, and industry sabotage. Rather than addressing the lawsuit head-on, the couple attempted to undermine Baldoni's credibility, going as far as using Reynolds' influence to paint the director as a problematic figure. But as more details emerged, Hollywood insiders began to distance themselves from the couple. 1 of the major turning points came when backlash erupted over Reynolds' handling of the lawsuit in the public sphere. Instead of taking a measured approach, he weaponized his Deadpool persona, slipping veiled jabs at Baldoni into the marketing material for Deadpool and Wolverine. What should have been a straightforward superhero movie promotion quickly spiraled into a bizarre, grudge-fueled campaign. Rather than coming across as a witty A-lister, Reynolds began to look like someone desperate to control the narrative. The public didn't buy it, and neither did Hollywood.
9 Glamour UK interview by Blake Lively. And in her interview, she admitted to trying to poison the cast of Gossip Girl, which is where she made her name, against her co-star Penn Badgley, who played her love interest, Dan Humphrey, on the show. She said, "At first I was so upset that they had hired him. I actually poisoned the whole cast against him." And she goes on to say, but then they noticed that he wasn't a jerk and was actually a nice, charming person. And almost immediately I realized it too. But it took me about a week to admit it. And here's the thing. Reports were that Blake Lively and Leighton Meester, who played best friends on that show, were not friends during the 6-season run of the show. Leighton Meester and Penn Badgley and other Gossip Girl co-stars have remained silent in the wake of the Baldoni legal drama. Neither Meester nor Badgley follow Lively on Instagram.
Blake Lively, too, was facing a major industry shift. Insiders began speaking more openly about her difficult behavior on set. Former Gossip Girl cast members revealed past conflicts, while crew members from It Ends With Us shared stories of Lively's alleged control issues. Whispers about her attempts to sideline Penn Badgley during Gossip Girl resurfaced, fueling the growing consensus that her A-list persona was just that. An act, a 2009 Glamour UK interview with Lively resurfaced, reigniting controversy. In it, she admitted to initially trying to turn the Gossip Girl cast against her co-star Penn Badgley, who played her on-screen love interest, Dan Humphrey. She said, "At first I was so upset that they had hired him, I actually poisoned the whole cast against him." She went on to admit that the cast quickly realized Bagley wasn't the person she had made him out to be. He was, in fact, kind and charming, but it took her a week to acknowledge that she had been wrong. And that wasn't. All reports had long suggested that Lively and Leighton Meester, who played best friends on the show, were far from friendly off-screen. While Meester, Bagley, and other Gossip Girl co-stars have remained silent amid the Baldoni legal drama, their actions spoke volumes. Neither Meester nor Bagley follow Lively on Instagram. With each new development, Lively and Reynolds' status. As Hollywood royalty slipped further away, SNL's 50th anniversary special was supposed to be their grand comeback. Instead, it became the final nail in the coffin of their reputations. Colin Jost's joke wasn't just a one-off punchline. It was Hollywood's way of making it clear that the industry had moved on. The silence from their peers was deafening. See Us, a couple who once seemed untouchable, had become a cautionary tale, one that proved the dangers of believing your own hype.